Give me less commercials. That's what we need.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Awesome radio station.
It's coming again.
Here we are, folks. This is the International Wealth Builders Radio Talk Show, presented by Tony Escobedo, your host, and by Real Men of Real Estate Radio. I am going to talk today about my evolution, my story. I want to introduce myself to the audience. It's great to be here today. I am a real estate investor. I've been doing this for 12 years. I wholesale residential real estate, and I've done over 200 deals, and in 15 different markets in 10 different states. My main market is here in Southern California. I want to tell everybody, if I can do real estate, there's hope for anybody. A dog with one eye and half a brain can do it if I can do it. So I am legally blind. I am partially sighted. I use a white cane to get around. I was born that way. I used to have better vision. I basically look like through two straws. I see as though through two straws. I have a friend of mine who lovingly calls me Two Straws. So perfect vision in the two straws, mind you. So I can read and write my name. But I want to give people hope. I want to talk about my story, and that is what I'm going to attempt to do today. You can call in if you have questions. You can call in at 909-792-5222. That's a local line. If you want to call in the local. Non-local, you can call in at 888-909-1050. Again, if you want to call in toll free, it's 888-909-1050 with any questions. If you want to call in on a local line with any questions, 909-792-5222. And if you only want to listen by phone, then just dial 720-835-3099. 720-835-3099 if you just want to listen by phone. But yeah, let's dive into it. If anybody has any burning questions, everybody's trying to wholesale, everybody's trying to get their deals, and it seems like wholesaling is kind of like a unicorn. It just seems like everybody wants to wholesale. Nobody's really getting deals, or sporadically they're getting deals. So I want to talk about the anatomy of getting a wholesale deal, but first I'll just share about myself. Like I was saying, I'm from Southern California, originally from the San Gabriel Valley, born in Chinatown, and then I lived all over the San Gabriel Valley, and then moved to Riverside, actually, or excuse me, Norco. Then Riverside, lived out in the Inland Empire, where we're at right now, in the beautiful city of Redlands. I lived out here for 6 years. Went to RCC. I was a perpetual student. Then I went to Cal State San Bernardino for a year, which I failed that year. I was not paying attention and distracted, death in the family, yada, yada, yada. School wasn't for me, but I'm in good company because the A students work for the C students, and that's what I was, average C grade. But I'm in good company. So anyways, let's dive into the subject of wholesaling. Like I say, I got started 12 years ago. I saw somebody on TV. I saw Dean Graziosi. I believed him, got his books. He was for real. $20 for 2 books, How to Be a Real Estate Millionaire and Profit from Real Estate Now. One of them was a New York Times bestseller. I believe How to Be a Real Estate Millionaire is the New York Times bestseller. And Dean Graziosi was diagnosed as dyslexic, and he's a New York Times bestseller. And I just started going to his conferences. I got it done. I got his education. I started learning, and little by little, a conference here, a seminar there. I kept studying. I kept crashing and burning, trying to get my first deal. It took me a couple of years. Of course, I am legally blind. Like I say, I cannot drive around, and it just took me a little bit longer to start getting deals. A couple of years into it, I started getting deals, and like I say, 200 deals plus later. It's been a really great blessing. And again, I say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So I did about 49 wholesale deals. About 49 wholesale deals on my own when I started in 2012. And I did for about 4 years or so. Yeah, about 4, 5, 6 years I did deals on my own. And then I created a partnership with a national wholesale brokerage, which I'll talk about. But before that, I did about 49 wholesale deals on my own. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and go into some of the mechanics of that and how you can basically get wholesale deals, how everybody's, well, not everybody, but how the best are doing it right now, the cheapest and the most efficient way. There's a lot of people trying to wholesale. A lot of wholesalers are not making money out there. They may be bringing in a lot of gross profits, but they're really not taking home a lot because they have huge, expensive overhead, which I'll talk about that. And we'll get into that in the next segment. But and again, if anybody wants to call in with questions, they can call in toll free at 888-909-1050. Again, that's 888-909-1050. If you're local, you can call in at 909-792-5222, 909-792-5222 with any questions. And we are going to go to a break, I know, here pretty soon. And then we'll get to the next segment where I will share more about the anatomy of wholesale deals and what is working. So prepare your questions if you have any, and I will share more about wholesaling. And I haven't met that many wholesalers out there. Frankly, I mean, there's flippers that wholesale now and then, and they'll wholesale to their friends, but actually professional wholesalers that are doing consistent deals per month, like I say, that's kind of like the unicorns. So you're talking to somebody here that is doing deals, that has done deals, and is employing strategies and tactics that are working in this market. So again, your host, Tony Escobedo, and Real Men of Real Estate right here, International Wealth Builders Association. And we're going to break, so just come on back. Don't flip the channel, and we'll see you here in a few seconds. No flipping. Just get a drink, get a bite, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
The toughest part in the lending process is patience. Like I tell all my clients, once you get those keys in hand, it'll all be worth it.
Everything that they said they were going to do, they did. I saved so much money working with First Lending Solutions. I love my new house. I couldn't be happier.
So reach out to me at First Lending Solutions so I can help you get started.
You can contact Defina Miller with First Lending Solutions at 951-973-0123, definamillermortgage.com.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field. The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
We are back. International Wealth Builders Association radio talk show presented by Real Men of Real Estate. I'm your host, Tony Escobedo. And as I was saying in the previous segment, I have been investing in real estate, been wholesaling in real estate for 12 years. I don't own any property yet. Well, that's not true. I just bought a property in Mexico, but not in the U.S. I just bought a lot down in Mexico. But my hope for this show is, even if it just helps one person, I know this goes out to 6 million listeners in Southern California, and it is my pleasure and honor to be here today. I have not really done anything on social media. I haven't spoken. I haven't really, I haven't started my podcast yet. I haven't really done any kind of communicating or gone on any shows. I just very little here and there, but I've decided to go ahead and do that and not be the person that they say the greatest shame is dying with unrealized talent. You know, that's a shame, is dying. And I think when someone is dying and they've reached the end of their life, or even if they're dying younger and they're dying and there's probably sadness on their face that they did not realize their potential, you know. So what I say to anybody that's listening to this show, to everybody that can hear the sound of my voice, there is hope for you. If there is hope for me, there is hope for anybody. Like I say, anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be autistic. You could be you could have no limbs. You could, maybe not even, have limited vision like myself, partial deafness. It doesn't matter. Single mom, you're challenged, you're tired. And anybody out there that is tired of working and just being in the rat race and always just struggling, counting pennies, and especially upset now with inflation going on. It's a horrible. It's inflation right now, what they've done, unfortunately. It's such a tragedy what they've done with inflation. It's squeezing average people. So you have to do something about it. You have to improve your personal economy. I mean, to try to get change on macro level, I mean, my goodness, we should all be working towards that too, but it's hard to think about these things when you have like basically a hand on your neck. You're choking, and basically that is when you don't have enough money. When you have enough money, it's like that hand is taken off of your neck and you can breathe. And so this is the thing. It's once you finally have you have your cash flow coming in that is meeting your needs and you have extra left over, it's such a relief. It's such a relief. For me, it's been the past 3 years more or less where, thank God, I have become financially independent. I'm nowhere near where I need to be, nowhere near the target yet, but I'm going to be. And I'm telling you that, again, if I can do it, anybody can do it. A doll with a doll with half a brain and one eye can do it if I can do it. So, I don't drive for dollars. I mean, I go with somebody when I have to do that. Drive for dollars, go knock on doors. I've started doing that recently. Well, anyways, I want to give you all hope. For those of you that have battled, because I can't tell you how many people I've met that have told me that they're trying to wholesale. If I had $1 for every time I met somebody in a real estate club that they're what are you doing in real estate? I ask them. They're like, I'm trying to wholesale. And I'm like, okay, well, the problem is people do not have the right education. I understand they're trying to do it on the cheap. They don't have money to get the education. So that's why I want to share today with you my tricks and tips and techniques that I learned from the best right now. I just saw my mentor, Matt Larson, out in Iowa in the Quad Cities. I just had a mastermind with him. And yes, it costs money. Thank God I can pay for it. And so Matt shared with me a couple of things. I was right in the mastermind. I had just gotten a deal under contract with a real estate agent. It's a pocket listing. And I'd gotten one previously, and I was not able to wholesale it. I sent it out. I had it sent out to like 1,000 buyers, basically. No, it was more than that. It was like 1,300 buyers. And I didn't get a peep out of anybody. It was very demoralizing. It was very discouraging. If anybody's gone through that, they know. And it's like an atom bomb goes off, and you just like you don't ever want to wholesale again when that happens. And I know a lot of people quit after that. So I'm going to share with you what Matt told me. I told him right in the mastermind. It was a small group. I said, Matt, I'm nervous. My buyers list, it's my fault. I have not built it up like you told me to do. I'm embarrassed to say. Even Tony Escobedo makes mistakes. And everybody does. This thing is not easy. It is hard. But I asked him, I said, how do I move this deal forward? How do I sell this deal? It seems like a really good deal. ARV 1.4. We got it for $1 million. And I need to move this. How do you suggest I move this? He told me, he said, okay. He's like, blast this out to your real estate agents, because we have an opt-in list of 5,000 real estate agents in Los Angeles, and send it to them and say, wholesale deal ready to be assigned in Altadena. That's where it was. 1.15 mil. We had it at 1 mil. 1.15 mil. It was a screamer of a deal, of course. You can't do that on every deal, but basically he told me, tell the agent, send out a text blast to these agents and say, wholesale deal ready to be assigned, 1.15 mil, $50K to you if you bring us a buyer. And we got a massive response. We got like 50, 60 agents responding, yes, I have a buyer, yes, I have a buyer. Then we required of them, like Matt said, to show us proof of funds, send us proof of funds. And let me tell you, it was really fun to be on the other foot, to be the one having the bidding war. It was hella fun. It was so enjoyable, because if any of you know and have made offers on any deals through agents, real estate agents, you know that it is not fun when there's a bidding war going on and you're the one offering on it. It's not fun. You're like, I can't come up, or I can come up very little. Well, this is how it was with our deal, and it was a hell of a time. So we actually started, at 1.1. Matt said to start at 1.1, which we did. 1.1, and we'd give him $50K, and then Chris, my partner that I'm splitting the deal with up there in LA, we'd each get 25. But yes, it got bid up to 1.15 mil. So therefore, we are each getting $50K. The agent and me and Chris. Now, I would have loved to have kept that whole thing, but hey, you got to take baby steps. I'll be developing the buyers list more in LA where I can keep that 150K. And I don't have to split that, but I am happy. I mean, 50K is an amazing payday, of course, right? And I left out a little bit that Matt told me to require of this, this buyer through their agent, that they must also, when they said they wanted the deal, they pulled Chris aside and said, hey, what do we need to do to get this deal done? My buyer is willing to pay 1.15. And Chris, I told him to say, because Matt told me, tell them that their buyer must wire to me outside of escrow into my account a $15K non-refundable deposit unless they can't close the deal because of title issues. Otherwise, it's refundable. So I can't spend that money. It's still in my account. They're sitting, waiting. It should be closing Tuesday, this particular deal up in Altadena. And so they wired it in. And I was like, Matt is a genius, and he is the master. So we got that deal. It was a screamer of a deal in Altadena, next to the foothills, next to the Jet Propulsion Lab. vacant on combo lockbox. It was perfect to show. The listing agent didn't even go. So my buddy, my partner, Chris up in LA, who generated that lead, a pocket listing, then showed the property. And forgive me if people don't know what pocket listings are. They're basically deals through agents. An agent, a listing agent, an agent goes to Mr. and Mrs. Seller. They want to sell. They sign an agreement with them to sell their house. That's called a listing agreement. So they don't go put it on the MLS yet. They don't tell anybody. Maybe a few people know in their brokerage or nobody. And then they call me, or we text them at that exact same time they get that deal, or they know us already and they call us and text me all the time and say, hey, I've got this deal, just got the listing agreement with the seller. This is what they're asking. The rehab is this. Are you interested? Yes, we are. Let's just make an offer subject to inspection. And we try to get it. I've got somebody to help pull the comps now. I'm going to teach them how to analyze it because I'm tired of doing that. But it's a very important skill. Those skills as a wholesaler, comping out and knowing what ARV is, critical. And then also generating leads, critical. Generating leads is the thing, and it's through texting and calling, which we're not even calling right now, but my mentor has callers, and it's working really well, and my buddy's got callers too that learned that from our mentor, Matt Larson. So, but we're basically just texting, and only real estate agents. We're not even texting sellers. My mentor is just direct to sellers. He doesn't mess around with agents. And, that's what we started specializing in, and we just kind of fell into it. It just kind of developed into that. And so we've dominated that. We're really good at that. We're going to still stick with agents. It's a certain twist on it, a certain way to do it, which I'll talk about more in the next segment. But, basically texting and calling is working right now. But you got to get the right list. In the next segment, I'm going to share which company that the best lists are from. And which lists exactly are the best. Because a lot of people are pulling lists, per my mentor, Matt Larson, a lot of people are using other lists that they should not be using because it's outdated information. It's just not as good info. Or maybe, there's one other service that's really good, but they're expensive, and they're good but expensive. So also you got to control the costs. And there's a way to have team members and employees that will be virtual, that will lower your costs, that will lower your overhead. Because most investors, let me tell you a little secret, 99% of real estate investors don't make money. They do not make money. They may bring in a lot of money, gross, but they've got huge overhead and they bring home a little bit of money. I know this because a buddy of mine, that's exactly how he was. And now he's making money because he's doing it how Matt does it. WWMD, what would Matt do, is my refrain. And so, in the next segment, I'll talk about exactly what services to use, what lists to pull, how to put it all together, basically. And it's not that hard. And as a matter of fact, you want to get yourself out of the way is the secret. You don't want to be the one doing it all yourself. And sometimes in the beginning, if your budget is really low, you are going to have to be doing it all yourself. But with these systems, you can leverage that and go faster and get leads coming in. That's the rub of this. That's the thing of this business, is to get constant lead flow coming in. Leads constantly being emailed to you or coming into your texting service. And then from there, knowing how to comp properties out, how to analyze them, and know how to make offers. And then the next step, of course, is to sell those deals to a group of buyers. So I'll talk about that in the next segment. And again, this is the International Wealth Builders Association radio show presented by Real Men of Real Estate, hosted by Tony Escobedo. We're going to take a short break. If you have any questions, call in 909-792-5222 or non-local 888-909-1050, and we'll be back here in a few seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. FireUp Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. FireUp Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
The toughest part in the lending process is patience. Like I tell all my clients, once you get those keys in hand, it'll all be worth it.
Everything that they said they were going to do, they did. I saved so much money working with First Lending Solutions. I love my new house. I couldn't be happier.
So reach out to me at First Lending Solutions so I can help you get started.
You can contact Defina Miller with First Lending Solutions at 951-973-0123, definamillermortgage.com.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field. The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Here we are back. Sorry about that. We are back. International Wealth Builders Association radio talk show presented by Real Men in Real Estate. I'm your host, Tony Escobedo. And so, okay, I wanna on this segment, I wanna give away the secrets, the tricks, the tips that I went to this mastermind, and it was $7,000 to go to this mastermind, by the way. But you also got a lead manager with that, which of course I have to pay $2,500 a month, which is fine. It's fine by me. And then a marketing assistant, which I'm going to wind up paying, I think, like $8 an hour or whatever. And the other one's $15 an hour, and or 16, I believe. But that's another story. So in the mastermind, that included the mastermind with Matt Larson for 2 days. In the Quad Cities, the center of the real estate universe, Mr. Matt Larson, I'm so grateful to you. I know you'll be hearing the show eventually. And I'm going to put on my wall again, WWMD, what would Matt do? Because if I'm where I'm at, it's because of Matt Larson. And then Matt Larson was Dean Graciosi's top student. Forgot to mention that earlier. And I just want to explain a little bit about my business. So I started out doing wholesale deals. I did about 49, 45 to 49. I'm looking back and trying to remember now. Yeah, about 45 to 49 deals. I'm losing count, but on my own before I started doing pocket listings, although some of them were pocket listings, come to think about. And remember, a pocket listing is just an off-market deal from a real estate agent that, somebody wants to sell, and it's through a real estate agent. So they're in their mix to get the commission. We promise them that they can represent us as the buyer. So they're getting both sides of the commission to explain, which is why they would be really motivated to give us the deals. That's a great way to source lead flow. If you know agents, you are an agent. A lot of wholesalers are agents. So you want to start networking with these agents. You want to go to caravans. You want to collect as much agent information as you can and do texting to them, even if it's just like one-on-one, and start like that. That's how I started, asking for deals. I'm an investor. I'm a cash buyer. Send me deals. You can write the offer for me, and that's how that started. So then I got Podio, this service where you can text blast from. Before it was just me doing it one by one. And then I got Podio. I partnered with a buddy of mine, Tom Gilbert, who lives in Southern California. Yo, Tom, shout out. And great investor. He just sold his mobile home park and 1031 exchanged $1 million into other rental properties. Smart guy, and he avoided taxes that way. Thank you, Tom. And we did a bunch of deals together. And so we started text blasting real estate agents from Podio. You can do it from Podio. There's many different services though. So that became my business and is my business still. Text blasting real estate agents every day now. Before it was almost every day. And it was only like 500 a day. Now we text blast 1,000 a day in 3 different markets a day. So that's 3,000. It's only Monday through Thursday. So that's, let me see here. Yeah, 3,000. I beg your pardon. They actually text multiple markets. So it's going to be about 4,000 texts a day. So it's about 16 to 20,000 texts a week. And so we mass text real estate agents, but now across the country, we've added other markets and in 10 different states and 15 different markets across the country. But this being our main market. So that's how I started, is text blasting or wholesaling on my own. And then I just fell into texting real estate agents, and we just got really good at it. We know the frequency to text them, which is just once a month, by the way. So you don't tire those lists out. You have to watch what you text. You can't text there's certain words that are a no-no, and your text will not get delivered if you include them in your text blast. And that's cash, deal, offer, or purchase. So you got to dance around that. You got to get very creative. The team gets creative. I said, just use a different word. Just use buy. For matter of fact, I don't even think buy you can use. It's some other. We use another word now. I'd have to ask my son-in-law, Ricardo, my partner. And so there's certain things, rules you got to go by. We use and we really recommend, and we use the texting service. And my son-in-law is going to get upset that I'm sharing this. He wants to keep it all to ourselves, but I'm like, no, brother, we must have an abundance mindset. So sorry, Rick, but brother, believe me, it's going to be okay. We are fine. We are in abundance. There's plenty for everybody. My goodness. So the service that we use, I really recommend this service is Go for Close, because it's only 0.007 cents per text. We're doing like about, I think it's a little under 20,000 texts a week actually, but it's about 60,000 texts a month, call it. We're only paying 1,000 a month for that. Anybody that uses another service knows how expensive they are. Batch leads, if you send out 1,000, it's like $40. So, and batch leads is what Matt Larson uses. It's what he recommends. Now, Go for Close, I've got a secret weapon for Go for Close because it is like having to figure out rocket science with Go for Close. It is forgive me, Josh Miller, the creator of Go for Close, but it is very unuser friendly. It's so at least for people like me that are not numbers people, that I am not an attention to detail person. I am the visionary. I am an I personality. If any of you know the Tony Disc Robbins test, that's me. So I am not the detail guy. Luckily, I have a surprise weapon in my pocket, and that is, as my partner, and that's my son-in-law, Ricardo Vielma. Thank you, Rick. I love you, man. He's the one that set that up, and we make a great team. So that's who I recommend is Go for Close. Now, if Go for Close, if it's just you that's going to do it and you don't have a Rick as a partner, then I recommend you use batch leads. Then use batch leads. And batch leads is, again, if you send out 1,000, but you don't have to send out 1,000. I would say just send out 500 texts at a time. Then that's going to be like $20. And then they charge like couple $100 a month to have the service, and then it's around I think $20 for 500 texts, more or less. So you can kind of do that math in your head. It's going to be like $300-400 a month, $500 a month to text blast, and I recommend then not starting out with agents. If you have a lot of agent business cards, if you're an agent, like I say, or you can gather agent information, you can buy it. Or if you have MLS access, you can easily get that data and just start contacting them and say, hey, you know, I'm a cash buyer, or I work with cash buyers. And, you know, of course, have cash buyers. Don't be messing around. That's a big beef with wholesaling, you know, that's always been that way. And I mean, I know I've screwed up enough deals myself, believe me. I can tell you, I want to talk about that too, as a matter of fact, but not right now. I'd rather talk about the victories. And so, but I've had many defeats, and that's also a thing. Hey, just remember Edison. He tried, I think it's 1,000. How many times did I tell you, Abraham? My assistant Abraham is him, by the way, Abraham Cuevas. Give a shout out to him. He's saying yo with his hand. So, you know, I think it's 1,014 or 1,040 times Edison failed. You know, have you failed 1,040 times, 60 times? If you haven't, do not give up. Again, if you're hearing the sound of my voice, do not give up. You can do this. You're stronger than you think. Start listening to motivation every day. You can do this. So I recommend the Go for Close service for text blasting or batch leads. You know, I wouldn't worry about calling right now. If it's just going to be you, just text blast, you know. Eventually, once you get your first check, your first wholesale check, then you hire a cold caller. And these are virtual assistants, mind you. You'll also get a text blaster through Upwork.com. Plenty of, and I mean, they're from the Philippines mostly. They all speak English. They're all very nice. You hire one for $5-6 an hour, you know, a text blaster. And they don't have to be full-time, just 20 hours a week. You know, you hire somebody 20 hours a week at $5 an hour, that's $100 a week, or even 15 hours a week at $4 an hour. I actually have somebody at $4 an hour right now who pulls my comps. So that's, what is that, $60 a week, $240 a month. You know, it's up to you how many hours they work. It can be less than that. So it's something that's doable and you can do. I recommend virtual assistants to build a team. I recommend Go for Close as a text blasting service. They also do email. They also do, I think it's calling through them, but I think it's a bit expensive calling. It's might be more efficient to hire outside, you know, a cold caller. And then that's another different service you use that I won't mention right now. Well, why not? It's Call Tools. Call Tools is what Matt Larson recommends. And we have, but we have not used it yet. We're not calling yet. So, you know, that is the service, though, that is recommended. And that is for text blasting then. That's the service that's recommended. I would start small. I would get a direct-to-seller list, which I will talk about in the next segment. What list, what company, and exactly what list to pull. And I think you might even be able to get a discount if you mention Matt Larson from that company. And I'll say what company that is, and I'll also finish up on these last two wholesale deals. I'll let you know the details of these two wholesale deals that I just wholesaled. The second one was a bear, let me tell you, but that one was a tighter deal, but we were able to get it done the way Matt Larson said to do it by sending it out to agents. And I really thank you all for listening. And yeah, if anybody has calls, you can call in toll free, 888-909-1050. Apparently nobody's calling in right now, but that's okay. They will call in later, but I won't be here. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. I won't be here, but you can call in 909-792-5222. Real Man of Real Estate. See you soon.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistants with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
The toughest part in the lending process is patience. Like I tell all my clients, once you get those keys in hand, it'll all be worth it.
Everything that they said they were going to do, they did. I saved so much money working with First Lending Solutions. I love my new house. I couldn't be happier.
So reach out to me at First Lending Solutions so I can help you get started.
You can contact Defina Miller with First Lending Solutions at 951-973-0123, definamillermortgage.com.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
We are back. The International Wealth Builders Association radio talk show presented by Real Men of Real Estate. Not fake men of real estate, but the real men of real estate. And I am your host, Tony Escobedo, coming at you here from beautiful Redlands, Inland Empire, where I used to live years ago. So this is the last segment. Going to wrap it up this segment, so I got to move it along. We only have 12 minutes. So I want to, there's so much I'd love to share. I'll be starting my podcast soon. So you'll be able to find me on YouTube, The Tony Show. Just The Tony Show on YouTube. And I'm just opening up the gates and sharing everything. I want people to succeed. I want you to know that if there is hope for me, again, there's hope for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. You can make it in this business as long as you stick with it and not give up. Just decide that you're going to do it and you're not going to give up. That's really the decision you have to make. You have to burn the boats. You know, it says that the explorers came to the New World, that Columbus had them burn their boats so they would not go back. I think it was Columbus. Might have been another explorer, but I think it was Columbus. And so the idea, you burn the boats so there's no return. You have to burn the boats. I quit my job, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that, and I suffered for a few years. But the idea is you burn the boats. And I didn't mention in the beginning, but I should say now, I've been on disability my whole life, just barely became financially independent the past couple of years. And I'm so grateful as well to the American people for the disability that kept me afloat. It kept me going. It enabled me to do this business. I am legally blind, have about 10% of my vision, more or less. Waiting for the cure to come out. Hopefully it'll come out soon. And again, you know, if I can do it with a white cane and I don't even drive or anything like that, you can do it too. Believe me, just believe in yourself. Listen to motivation every day. Get up in the morning, drink a green drink. There's plenty of those green powders that are affordable. Just buy one of those, put it in some water. When you get up, drink it. Do a little workout. You know, I mean, a little meditation. Get the blood pumping and start working on your business. If you have a job, you can work on it on your days off, on the weekends. It's harder that way, but you can do it. You can do it. Believe me, Matt Larson did it that way. And he was a machine shop worker. And again, I'm eternally grateful to Matt and Dean. God bless you both. But quickly, let me tell you about these two deals. I just wholesaled a deal in Torrance. It was a pocket listing, an off-market listing from an agent. And the team text blasted them. The deal came in. I had the comps pulled. I looked at the comps. I called the agent. I don't even know. Did I call her? I don't even think I called her. I think I texted her. I tried calling her. She didn't answer. I texted her. I'm like, perfect. I don't have to talk to her. Great. So I texted her our offer. She's like, okay, yeah, they'll do that. I was like, hallelujah. And so I sent her offer. I sent her terms, offer and terms, and our proof of funds. And she wrote it up. And by the way, if you don't have proof of funds, you can use besttransactionfunding.com. Not besttransactionalfunding.com, besttransactionfunding.com. So you can use that. Anybody can use that. So she wrote it up. We got accepted, and I went to the mastermind. I asked Matt. He told me what to do. We did that with the one deal before in Altadena. Then I got this deal. This is the last deal in Torrance. So this was not that deal. It was a tighter deal. Needed a ton of work. It's owner occupied. Those are really a lot more harder to move. Matt told me to, on those that are occupied, tenant occupied or owner occupied, there's no inspection for the buyer. You have to get an inspection report done. You have to get a third-party vendor neutral. You have to pay for it. Inspection report done. It's a couple $100, $300 or whatever, $400. But you have to do that, unfortunately. So you're spending money on those occupied ones. Those are difficult. So if it's occupied, you got to spend money on an inspection report. Luckily, they had done a report already. They had done an inspection report. They had done video. They had done pictures, because that's what he told me to do: get pictures, get video, get an inspection report. And then once you have it under contract, or after you get it under contract, get that if they don't have it. In this case, they had it. So we were able to blast it out to our agents, to a different list of agents, and we made sure that that listing agent was not included in that list. And if anybody texted back, because we sent out a general text that didn't have the address, that said, this property on such and such corner of this neighborhood, 1.1 mil, you get $50K if you bring us a buyer. And of course we get an overwhelming response. And so somebody's knocking on the window over there. I don't know what's up with that. But in any event, so they would text back, yes, we're interested in this property, but we would ask them as well, what brokerage are you from? If they're from the same brokerage, then we'd say, oh, sorry, that deal's gone, even if it's 5 minutes later. We say, sorry, that deal's gone. Because you don't want the listing agent to know right away anyways. You want to try to preserve that deal until you have it assigned over to a buyer. Another way to close it is to double close it. But that can get a little trickier. It would be better to just assign it, because then you have to pay transfer taxes and another set of closing costs, and that's trickier. It's better to just assign it and be done with it. We assigned the other deal for $150K over what we had it under contract for. So this other tough deal, we were able to find a buyer. They took it. They didn't even go see it. But it was about to fall apart. It was like the only buyer, really, because it needed a lot of work, this house. They were like, yep, we see the report, we see that, but we still want to go see it. And no, we're not doing a $15K non-refundable deposit. And so I had no other buyer, so I had to go with them. And half of the assignment fee is going to stay in escrow until the occupants leave, because it's a rent back. They have to stay in the house for like a month after it closes, which happens sometimes. You just have it written into the contract. So that was difficult for the buyers, and so that's why that was a tough one to sell. But we got it done. The buyer agreed to $48K assignment fee, which we're splitting with their agent rather, that brought them. And so they're getting half, and we're getting half of that, which is what, 24 grand, right? And then I split that with my son-in-law Ricardo, so 12 grand each. And not a bad payday for a super tight deal. And that one could still fall out. They still have until, I believe, Tuesday to cancel that. I couldn't get a non-refundable from them. So God willing, that happens. The other one that's going to happen is the one I'm getting the wholesale fee for $50K. Matter of fact, $51K. And that one was a screamer of a deal. ARV, it actually wound up being 1.5. I was being more conservative. It's actually 1.5. It's on a cul-de-sac near the foothills of San Gabriel Mountains in Altadena, and next to a park. It's a gorgeous house, big house, 4-bedroom, I think, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet, I believe. And that was for the buyer that got it. She's going to live in it. And yeah, she sent us in the $15K non-refundable. That one, we could definitely require that. And it was $150K over what we had it under contract for $1 million. So we assigned it for $1,150,000, $50K of which we're giving to the agent that brought the buyer. Now, the listing agent's being taken care of. Seller pays commission. So when a seller signs with a listing agent for 6% commission, which is the standard, that's coming out of the sale of their house. So we don't even have to deal with sellers, through real estate agents. And anyone can do that, and anyone can do what we're doing. You just have to get a list of agents, and you can start text blasting agents, and those same deals they send you, you can blast those out to a different group of agents, not to that same listing agent, and then you just do what we did. Hey, you get 50K, 30K, whatever it is that the numbers can work out to. Do your numbers, learn how to comp out, make sure you can establish ARV. We're getting deals under contract at 80% of ARV. We're not looking at rehab. We're not looking at any of that stuff. So 80% of ARV. Just do 80% of ARV. You have to establish ARV. You can use PropStream comps. It's $100 a month for PropStream. I recommend that. You can pull comps from there. You can pull comps from Zillow and Redfin. Those are good comps. And there's videos on YouTube on how to pull those comps. So anyways, and I want to tell you before we run out of time, the right list to pull is from Data Skip. The list to pull for direct to seller, the list right now that is working the best is from, Data Skip. It may be Direct Skip or Data Skip. Believe it's Direct Skip. My goodness, forgive me. It's either Data Skip or it's Direct Skip. Excuse me. From Direct Skip, and the best lists that are working from Direct Skip are this is a skip tracing service, but as well as a data service for lists. So you can pull the best list that's working is vacant, high equity list. That's working the best right now. Vacant, high equity lists for sellers in whatever area you want to text in. Pull the list for that. The next list that's working is high equity. Let me see here. The first one is vacant, high equity, and then the second one I believe is properties that are owned free and clear. Those are like hidden houses. They call them hidden equity because they're houses that are basically have never been refinanced, so nobody knows about them. And just use the code Matt Larson. Tell them that Matt Larson referred you. They'll give you a discount. It's Direct Skip. It's directskip.com. And just tell them that Matt Larson referred you, and you can get a discount. And Matt Larson's education is the best that I've found out there. I know there's other great guys out there as well, Sean Terry and others, but Matt Larson is the one that has been mentoring me. So the best list out there, directskip.com, vacant, high equity, and then the hidden houses list is working best. And then after that is the tax delinquent. But the real one that's working the best out of all of them is vacant, high equity. That's working the best. You're going to have more success texting that list. You can't overdo that list. Another thing, when you get that list, text it right away. Don't get the list and then get your service and then wait a few weeks. You gotta text them right away because that information expires. That information is no longer good after a few weeks. That's one of the tricks. That's what works. So this is directly from Matt Larson. So you make sure that you work that list right away. Do not wait. If you can get a caller at the same time, then do that too. While the list is being texted, then have them called. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I wish I had more time with you. The constraints of radio. I'm Tony Escobedo. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. I hope that you get value from this. If you want to reach out to me, you can email me at tonybuyshomes@gmail.com. Buys is plural, homes is plural. tonybuyshomes@gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook, Tony Escobedo. I'll be adding more social media. I want to help people. My burning desire is to help people get to where you're at. You know what they say, help somebody get to where they're at and you'll get to where you want to go. And remember, tomorrow is another day. Remember, fresh mercies in the morning. Hang in there. Do not give up. Just one more step. Go one more step with me. Just remember, what you want is on the other side of your fears. Just keep going. Just don't stop. Whatever you do, promise yourself that you won't stop. It's a real pleasure to be with you here today. Again, Tony Escobedo, Real Men of Real Estate, International Wealth Builders Association. Thank you.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3